Hello, everyone. I am Coach Moses from Action Coach, and I would like to welcome you all once again to Transformation Tuesdays. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of November, and yes, we're getting close to the end of the year. And as usual, we have some very, very nice business owners sharing with us on Transformation Tuesday. And today we have Nisha Williams and Andrea Williams, nurse and medical doctor from Teshuva Wellness. Welcome, Dr. Williams. Welcome, Nisha Williams. How are you both today?
We're very good, Coach.
Hi, Coach. Thank you so much.
I just want to welcome you on behalf of all of us here in the Action Coach community to welcome you to Action Coach and to Transformation Tuesdays. I would like to start our discussion today by asking you to tell me your name and to tell me a little bit about Teshuva Wellness.
Okay, so my name is Nisha Williams and I'm a registered nurse and also a certified emergency room nurse. I've been a nurse since 2005, so that is a good time away. And our business is Teshuva Wellness. Now, my husband and I, we started our business, which was catered mainly to cancer patients back in 2015. And then we rebranded to Teshuva Wellness, where we cater to not only cancer, but to a lot of different chronic illnesses. We treat, we do breast imaging. We also treat chronic pain. We treat the conditions that your doctor is unable to figure out. You come to us and we will help you return to your best self.
Me? You want to hear?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That sounds very interesting indeed. So, Dr. Williams, is there anything you would like to add to that about the business?
Yeah, I mean, this business was one that we didn't realize was coming. I mean, I'm a fully trained medical doctor. I did basic training at University of the West Indies, and I also did my postgraduate training at the University of the West Indies in hematology and oncology, which is a study of blood and cancer. And so having completed my postgraduate training, I took up a job at one of our regional hospitals. And the truth is that could have been my career for the rest of my life, administering cancer treatments a conventional way. But I decided to take a slight detour and started treating cancer patients using nutrition and other quote unquote alternative methods. And the patients started to get better. Their relatives requested assistance as well. And so we decided that we needed to rebrand and start offering general wellness treatments that are safe, non-toxic, and helpful to the patient, no side effects. And that's what we've been able to do through Teshuva Wellness, and I love it.
Awesome. That sounds very interesting indeed. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that shortly. But before I do that, I want to ask you, how old is Teshuva Wellness? When exactly did you start this business?
Yeah, so I mean, we started as Cancer Care Solutions in 2015 March, and we rebranded to Teshuva Wellness. We launched officially in September of 2018.
Nice.
So as of today's date, we're officially 5 years old.
Okay, so Teshuva is 5 years and Cancer Care started 2015, so that's 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have been around for some time. Plus, before that, you were working in hospitals and other medical centers. So
Correct.
You both come with a lot of experience here, which is really good indeed. So now that you have shifted a little bit, as you said, Dr. Williams and Nurse Williams, give me an idea, who exactly do you serve now? In Action Coach, we call it target audience. Who is the ideal or best customer for you? I know Nurse touched on it a little bit, but tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, the truth is that our target audience was determined just by who came through the door for most of the time. And Nurse said it earlier, it's really patients who were, for one reason or another, not getting full relief by just having their symptoms treated. I mean, as a society, we've been so accustomed to getting, for a headache, you get a painkiller, for example. But there is a market of patients who want to do more than just mask or manage the symptoms, but want to treat the root cause. And that's where we come in. So those stubborn health problems that you are told basically there's no cure, you just need to manage it, or worse, you've been told that they're not quite sure why it's happening, but the best we can do is to control your pain or suppress the immune system so it doesn't act up as much. Those are the kinds of problems that we find ourselves being invited to treat so often. And so our target market really is clients who have that interest to dig a little deeper. Worse, if you've been told that there's no cure, we oftentimes are able to identify what caused the illness to begin with and to eliminate that cause and give you the relief that you really want.
Yes, one of the things that we focus on is the root cause of the illness. And we are also very focused on trying to prevent illnesses or disease, as we said. So we focus a lot on prevention as well.
Yeah.
So that's again very interesting. So essentially, you're saying that instead of just treating symptoms, you're going down to identify the root causes of the sickness, and you treat it from there. So am I correct in assuming then that your patients would perhaps have a more permanent solution when compared to just taking their usual medication that treats the symptoms? Would that be a correct assumption?
So, Coach, not only is that correct, but it's also the reason why we needed ActionCOACH to begin with, because so many of our clients were getting better and really not needing to come back. So it's one thing when you're taking something that suppresses symptoms and the cause remains, but when the cause is treated, as often we do, then the patient no longer needs to come back to the doctor as often or not at all. And so we needed some help with generating new business, and that's where we ended up contacting you to try and get some assistance with, I guess, what you call lead generation, learn the term.
So I was just about to ask you to share with us a little bit about the greatest impact of coaching since you started with us here at ActionCOACH.
Yeah.
I know you already started to talk about lead generation, but just give us a synopsis of some of the benefits that you have derived from coaching here with us, ActionCOACH.
Yeah, so one of the main things I would say, Nurse will give her response, but one of the main things for me was I was the one interfacing with the patient and designing a treatment plan for them. And the truth is that over the years, for one reason or another, I had been hesitant to recommend some of the more quote unquote pricey treatments. I was hesitant to recommend treatments that were more expensive in my eyes, even though it wasn't as if they were overpriced, but it just felt uncomfortable for me, even though the patient would benefit more from those treatments. And when I started ActionCOACH, one of the first things you taught us was that you communicate the value, not the price or the cost. And within a few weeks, I decided, all right, I'm going to try that. Whenever I met the patient, I assessed what the problem was, determining their treatment plan. The first thing I did was to communicate to them the value of what they'd be able to get from the treatments. And almost immediately I realized not only did those patients, they signed up oftentimes without asking what the price was, because they were convinced of what the value would be to them. And to make it even better, they started to refer their own colleagues and friends as well. And as I'm sure you already know, Coach, people who seek this kind of care usually have friends who are similarly minded. And so it cut down on us having to go out and find new leads because we were getting so many new referrals as well. So essentially what we moved from financially was just barely breaking even, sometimes not breaking even at all, to within a few months or less being able to have a profit at the end of the month. And that was just, that had not been the case for the previous 5 years.
Yes. And just let me add, one of the other things
that is quite interesting. Go ahead, Nurse, go ahead.
Okay, so let me just piggyback on what Dr. Williams just said. One of the other things about ActionCOACH, which I really benefit from, is the fact that we are held accountable. You're getting homework and you need to make sure that you do them, and you're held accountable. And you will know that you're not doing the work. You know, it will be reflected in your coaching sessions. It will be reflected in when you do your profit and loss and you look at your numbers. And one of the things that coach often stress is that we need to know our numbers. As business owners, we need to know what the numbers are. We can just be focused on getting our day-to-day sales, but really looking at the bigger picture. And so that is one of the things that Action Coach has really taught us to think wider and to really know what is happening with our business.
Thank you for that feedback. And I like what you both said. You know, Dr. Williams just spoke about articulating the value of the service that and the benefits it's going to bring to the client. And before that, you were so focused on that. And there was this fear factor of really speaking with the clients and having them understand that this service will cost X amount of money. But no, when you explain the value to persons, nobody complains about it because the value is good. And that is very interesting because quite often in business, sometimes that becomes a fear for many people. So I'm glad to hear that you have overcome that. And nurse, it's very interesting to hear you because, you know, it's often said that, you know, ladies are afraid of numbers, but you're here demonstrating. I hear you talking about profit and loss and numbers and all of that. And that's very good. So I must say that I'm very proud of both of you, the actions you have taken and, you know, how comfortably are now with doing certain things on a regular basis. And you have been excellent clients indeed. I want to ask you a little bit now. I want to shift gears a little bit now. You know, in life, we all make mistakes. Nobody goes through life. It is said that if you don't make a mistake, you're not really trying. So tell us, share with myself and our listeners, what are one or two or perhaps the biggest mistake you have ever made? And how have you learned from that mistake? And just share a few of those mistakes with us, what the lesson you learned from it, and what message you would have for entrepreneurs, professionals like yourself, because I know there are many persons in the medical professions and otherwise who perhaps are afraid of mistakes, even afraid of taking on a coach. So what message do you have for those persons as it relates to mistake? But tell us about your mistake first.
Oh, well, I'll just go and then Doc will pick up on the rest. So I just remembered last year, and it really was around this time when Dr. Williams was speaking to me about signing up with Action Coach. No, because I am more of a, you know, kind of a low risk taker. I was reluctant to take the risk. And I was just saying, you know, I was just looking on the cost. But to be honest, it has been one of the best decisions we have made, because it has really, sometimes you really need that coach to cheer you on and to let you know that you can do it, you know, and the cheer that they'll give you is so much different from if it's your spouse or another business colleague. So, and I remember when we were able to start January, and then every month we're able to pay for the coaching, and we have benefited quite a lot from coaching. So having that one-on-one session has been really tremendous, and it has helped with our thinking. You know, we often talk about the reticular activating system, and so that is something that we see everywhere in everything that we do. And so with the information, because it's a lot of information, and it's just the fact that you have somebody walking with you. So I would just say, you know, that has been one risk that we have taken, which I was reluctant to take as a business partner, and I am happy that we have taken that risk.
Yeah.
But you know that.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, the biggest mistake that I think, I mean, Coach, you've heard me say this a million times. The biggest mistake I think we made with this business was we should have insisted on getting an accountant from the get-go who was able to tell us our numbers on a regular basis. And I think for anybody out there who is just starting the business, that's the biggest recommendation I would make, because This is not to say we didn't have good accountants, but in order to truly forecast and to plan properly, you need to know what is happening long before tax time, long before you need to apply for a bank loan, for example. You need to have your numbers in front of you. I mean, for me personally, now having gone through Action Coach, I'd love to see my numbers weekly if I could. You know, and most business owners don't recognize the value of that until it's too late. So we're now having to play a little bit of catch up, trying to reconcile our numbers from going back a good little way to try and figure it out. But we're gonna get there. But I would say that's my biggest mistake that we made.
Right. So Dr. Williams, you are saying that choosing a good accountant, in the earlier days you did not do that, but now you have learned a lesson, and moving forward for you and your advice to other business persons out there is, once you're in business, get a good accountant, one that's reliable, who can give you your numbers in a timely manner so that you can make informed decisions. Excellent. That is really important, you know, because in coaching, that's one of the things, as you would know, that we teach our clients. You have to know the numbers. If you don't know the numbers, it's like walking in the dark.
Yeah.
And nurse, yes, you know, you mentioned about the thinking, the change in the way you think. And I can say without a shadow of doubt, I can see that growth in both of you, the shifting in the thinking. And, you know, that's one of the things we do in coaching. When after a little time in coaching, our clients start to think at a different level. And you are shining examples of that. And you really are great leaders and I guess because you are great students, why you are great leaders, showing the way for other persons, especially those in professions like yourself. Doc, I just have two more questions to go for both of you, and then I'm going to be done. I know you have shared your email address, your website, phone number, and all of that with us already, but is there anything else you would like to add to that? Anything that, like a special offer, that you may want to give out today, especially to these persons? Because listen, we have a big community here in Action Coach, and all of them will be, you know, are listening to us right now. So tell us if there's any offer that you have for them, anything at all. We need to know about your business, your offerings that you haven't yet said.
Absolutely. So one of our most popular services is IV vitamin infusions. So we actually give nice doses of vitamins directly into the bloodstream. We set up a little drip on the hand and we put the infusion in. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Nurse is the one that does the stick, and the patients usually say that they don't even feel anything. It's really painless. But the business people tend to really love it, because when you take vitamins by mouth, it takes a little time for it to absorb into the body and to be useful. When you put it directly into the bloodstream, you're getting that boost of vitamins directly to the cells really quickly. So one of our services is called a premium recovery. It has vitamin C, vitamin B12, calcium, magnesium, and most of the B vitamins as well in a small little bag of fluids. We inject that into the veins over a 50-minute period. And the business people in particular usually say, boy, I feel like I can lift up a car right now, I can't go back. But unfortunately, usually what they do is go straight back into the stress. And within another couple of weeks or so, they're back needing another one. Today, what we're offering, because we know there are a lot of business people on, we are offering a 10% off discount for our premium recovery IV. And it's a limited time offer. It's going to expire on the 15th of November. And you can use the code ActionCOACH10. That's Action Coach with the numeral 10 after it. Just visit our website, and or you can call the number, whatever, and just let them know that you'd like to get the booking link to book an IV for yourself, and use the code ActionCOACH10 to get your 10% off. Limited time offer, expires on the 15th of November.
Thank you for that offer, Dr. Williams, and I really like the fact that you use Action Coach, you know, as a coupon, as a code for persons to get the discount. I really like that. You know, Dr. Williams and Nurse, I want to pick your brain a little bit before I go to my last question. I remember hearing you talk about thermography, and I don't think you mentioned it today. I would like you to share a little bit about that, because I know we're just coming out of some
Breast cancer
period
awareness.
where persons are concerned about breast health, right? So I just wanted to share a little bit about that before I ask you my final question.
Yeah. So I'm happy to. The concern about breast cancer and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which we just finished, is that it's okay to talk about breast cancer, but if that's the only word you hear after the word breast, then it's a little bit distressing. So our mission, part of our mission as Teshuva Wellness, is to try and allow people to be able to focus more on the health, which is where we want to go. We want to go towards breast health, not breast cancer. And so we have been trained in technology that's actually quite common in first world countries, is a very special camera, high-tech camera, that is able to take an image of the breast, what we call a thermal or a heat image of the breast. And it involves no radiation, no squeezing, no pain. And the information that you get from that will give you information about your breast health and not necessarily just determining if you have breast cancer. It can be used by women of all ages, including those who are pregnant, those who are breastfeeding, young women younger than age 40, as young as age 18. Once you're a woman who has breasts, you are eligible to do this test. There's no contact with the machine at any time, no pain, no squeezing or radiation. And most of the women who come by to have their breast imaged, they're always amazed at how simple it is and also how accurate and detailed the results are that you can get. So we're trying our best to make the Jamaican public embrace a culture, women in particular, of being more proactive and taking charge of your breast health long before we have to have any discussion about cancer.
Thank you for sharing on that, Dr. Williams. And my final question for you is, what would you say has been your greatest achievement to date? And the question is for both of you.
Greatest achievement to date. I'm thinking this is more of a general question, right?
Yeah, for the business.
Oh, for the business. I think the greatest achievement that I would say right now is the ability to not just break even, but to actually see a profit and to be able to pay all your bills in full without having your landlord or anyone else calling you, and feeling comfortable and not anxious about it. I think that is really one of the greatest achievements, and I can say that happened honestly after doing ActionCOACH, where we can be able to really go over break even. You can see a profit, and you're able to start planning for next year, with what you're seeing in your bank account. So I think that is really one of our greatest achievements, I could say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a totally different mindset when you're trying to figure out how to break even. It's like a pressure. To me, I call it more of a pressure or stress mindset, because you don't have much time to be creative, because every decision you make is either you're going to work or you're going to push yourself further into debt.
Right.
So we have been able to, not give in too much details, but we've been able to not go into overdraft, for example, anymore. As Nurse mentioned, we're paying our bills in full, and we're hoping soon to be able to hire additional team members as well.
Yes.
Because we now need greater capacity, and that has just happened. I mean, we started ActionCOACH in May. We're now in November, so it's roughly about 6 months, and we moved from wondering what's going to happen from month to month to, as Nurse said, planning now and actually looking to hire staff.
Yeah.
And that is really a great achievement, I must say, because in ActionCOACH, one of the things we teach our clients, as you know, is that we teach them to budget for profits, not just budgeting to pay bills. And again, I must commend both of you, because you have really taken actions. You have not hesitated one bit. And today, hearing you speak, I can tell that you are pleased, and we're pleased too with the progress you have been making. And certainly you are just getting started, and the best is yet to come. I'm really proud of both of you, and I want to thank you both for coming here. I want to throw in one final question though. Dr. Williams and Nurse, you are both professionals, and there are many professionals out there in your field. I know that being a professional, and most professionals really are not so great at business as they are about. They are great at their profession, but not so great at business. But now you both understand the business side of things, and things, some of the things that we must know as professionals in business in order to be more profitable and to be more organized, etc. In one sentence, what would you say to professionals like yourselves out there as it relates to business and business coaching?
Yeah, what I would say, one is to trust your coach. Trust the recommendations, and be honest and open. Try not to hide anything. Just be honest. If it's a loss, you let your coach know. I would say also to have a proper point of sale system. Whether it's Peachtree, QuickBooks, have a proper point of sale system, and also have proper bookkeeping, or even just save your bills or invoices, receipts, do a screenshot and save those, because it's difficult when your accountant is asking you for things or bills and you have to go 3 years back and you don't have it. Remember, the bank only saves 6 months, so you'd have to go into the bank and pay for those. But to just and it doesn't take hiring a personal assistant to be organized. It's really just having those basic things. As Doc said, the accountant, I would say a proper point of sale system, and knowing where your records are. And I would recommend, if you're going to have a coach, or I recommend having a coach that you trust your coach. I remember Usain Bolt saying, that he trusts this coach, Glenn Mills, and we can see his achievements. So trust the recommendations of your coach, and be honest with them if you're probably fearful of doing something right now, but trust your coach. Anything else?
Thank you, nurse. Anything to add, Dr. Williams?
Yeah, I think the 2 words I'll say to any professional, I know I have several medical colleagues, I'm sure, who will probably watch this and wonder, is it achievable? And I think that the simple answer is dream big. I mean, for me, it's pray big, because I believe in praying for what I want. But, you have to have some sort of a vision. None of us as doctors or business people gets up and wants to work for the rest of our lives. All of us have other goals that we want to achieve, personal goals, family goals, vacations, that kind of a thing. And they're not going to just magically land in your lap. No matter how much money you have to really be deliberate about planning what you want to achieve and where you want to be and how you're going to get there. And I know ActionCOACH says be times do equal have. So you can't just decide that you're going to get the thing without having a plan of how to get it. That's the biggest learning curve for me, and I think other doctors are watching this are going to probably feel the same way.
Thank you so much, both of you, for that. And certainly, we are here to help persons to realize their dreams. And you made an important point there, Dr. Williams. Nobody wants to just work for the rest of their lives. And that's why we are here in ActionCOACH, to help persons to get that business to a point where it can run without them. And you're both on your way there. I want to thank you on behalf of all of us here in ActionCOACH and our community who are taking the time out to share with us today. I know our listeners are going to take you up on the 10% discount offer that expires on the 15th of November, and want to wish you both continued success in your business. And as you reached out and you said, you made a call to business people out there, professionals like yourself, get a coach, get an accountant, solid advice. Thank you so much for that. God bless you both. Take care, and thanks again.
Thank you, Coach.